also known as calcium carbonate, is formed in warm shallow seas. As all the tiny sea creatures die, they sink into the bottom of these rocks and build up on the seafloor. Limestone is basically the fossilized and calcified remnants of these creatures. These creatures and this limestone is mostly found in Florida. There's Florida aquifers and a whole bunch of karst formations. We first started at the gardens on accident, which was very beautiful, and then we finally got to Devil's Den. Devil's Den is a formation of a karst, which is also just a sinkhole found in Florida's central areas. These are formed due to the limestone and the thin, soft rock material that make up these areas. It's sandy, so therefore water seeps through beneath, and as time goes by, the water sinks and allows the material and the soil on top to erode and fall beneath, causing a sinkhole or as one of these caves. Devil's Den is an underwater cave with a hole opening in the top where you can see out until the skylight. Yuckley Uplift is a very important geological feature in Florida. It stretches all along the west central Florida from Brooksville to the south of Live Oak in the north. It runs parallel and west to I-75 and characterized by high rolling hills. Yuckley Uplift is basically an uplift within the state of Florida. Not really a plateau, but it's a rise, and that's for all the reoccurring karst formations that occur. The Yuckley Uplift has been weathered by erosion over the last few millions of years, and the confining layers of sand and clay have been removed by the elements. Therefore, the limestone and bare rock is very close to the surface, within 0 to 50 feet approximately. This allows many of the cracks, crevices, and caves in limestone to become exposed. The Yuckley Uplift is home to the majority of dry caves in Central Florida. Most Central Florida caves are located in the western sections of. For the water test, we did a series of tests. A few of them were the nitrogen phosphate low range test, a carbon dioxide test, a precision pH test, and a silica test. For the nitrogen phosphate, we got a light purple, which indicated 0.2 parts per million for the phosphate, and the nitrogen was a light purple blue, which was 4 parts per million of nitrate. The carbon dioxide indicated a hot pink color. The precision pH indicated pH between 6 and 7, and the silica indicated a dark blue, which was value of 10. Hey, birdie! Oh, you're so cute! Hey, birdie! Hello! Y'all. Oh, wait, come here. Oh, man, he was my new friend. Come here, little lizard! The next stop on our journey was the University of Florida Butterfly Museum. Me and my sister went to the museum and saw the live butterfly exhibit with various types of butterflies. We saw orange butterflies, blue butterflies, red butterflies, pink butterflies, yellow butterflies, and even some moths. Which was interesting was some of the moths were actually just sitting on the decaying fruit and feeding the whole time, which is very interesting. We saw casings of butterflies, and we even saw some caterpillars and cocoons of butterflies. There's one big butterfly. It was dead, of course, and it was really ginormous size, like prehistoric. I also took some pictures of some fun facts and some information on the butterflies' feeding habits, their body temperatures, their lifespan, etc. the butterfly exhibit, we went back into the museum, and then we explored the Seminole Indian exhibit. That was prominent in the museum because in Florida, that's where a lot of the Seminole Indians live. Or we have Florida State University, which is the Seminoles, prominent there. Then we went into the Oceanic exhibit, where we saw various types of seashells, sharks, other sea creatures, prehistoric sea creatures. We even saw the shark mouth structure of a Megalodon shark. That was pretty cool. Throughout the exhibit, we saw different types of sea creatures, their habitats prehistorically, and even current living conditions. We also went into the caves and saw what type of creatures lived in the caves, and dry exhibits and prehistoric exhibits, etc. We looked at how the Permian period and their eggs, and how some of the eggs they had grooves on them, which was better for aerodynamics. We also looked at the inside of a shell, which showed the deep layer within and showed the structure of how the shells were and the sea creatures that lived there. Looking at these exhibits, like the vertebrates of the whales, the prehistoric shark, the hammerhead shark, those are all pretty cool. They also showed a giant leatherback turtle, which was levitating from the ceiling. That was pretty amazing because leatherback turtles can be 700 to 800 pounds, which is crazy to believe that they just carry themselves through the ocean, just gliding away, and something that big can be in the ocean. They also showed some manatees and showed the prehistoric manatees and how they're healthy for our ecosystem, and they live in areas occupied with seagrass and fresh water because that's the habitat they are known for. The museum also talked about snakes and reptiles and like rattlesnakes and everything like that. Other reptiles like alligators and prehistoric alligators and how large they were. And just back in the day, how zebras were and how they have evolved and changed so much today. They have like a prehistoric zebra and the size difference, and then one from today. It's just really cool and neat to see the difference and how much they've changed over time. They showed prehistoric sloths, which were 3 times the size of the sloths we have today. Of course, they're still slow, but it just shows the relative difference, and it makes you think maybe they were eating something different that made them so much bigger. Like the bear skeleton they also had there, huge, way bigger than a normal bear here. It was about 4 feet taller than an average bear. So it just shows the difference and relativity of the times changing. Inside the cave exhibit and saw what creatures that were inside the cave and what things lived inside, and were basically all nocturnal because in the caves it's dark. We also looked inside the coastal plain exhibit, which is pretty cool because I've been to Sapelo a few times, and everything that was in that exhibit was exactly a replica of how Sapelo Island was. That's a great example of coastal plain. It shows the development of the land, the salt marshes, the needle rust, the spartina, everything, the special little crabs that help the ecosystem, and the snails and everything. It shows where the sea turtles are and how they lay their eggs and why they come there. They come there because it's easier to lay the eggs, and it's not really as much predators or people out there, so it's safer, and their babies have a higher chance of survival. We also looked at some big prehistoric bones, which were actually prehistoric mammoth bones, and even an alligator, which is the University of Florida